So you're never too late. You're never too old or broken or young. It's your time.
Welcome to Women Thrive Season 5. This season, you can expect incredible conversations with women from all around the world. We at Women Thrive, not only do we put on incredible conversations with women, host events, retreats, publish a magazine, publish books, and we have created a platform for every woman to shine and share her message. So you right now tapping into a podcast that is globally recognized as the place for women to be and share their message. Be inspired, be part of the conversation, and let's thrive together.
So hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca. Welcome to the podcast today. I know that we do have a lot of you who listen and watch the podcast who are either speakers or aspiring to be speakers. And today we're going to be speaking about not just being a confident and confident speaker, but also about the power of storytelling. And I wanted to ask you, what's your story? What's the story that you would like to share on a stage, or what is the story that you are sharing on a stage? Storytelling is so powerful because it takes your speaking from information sharing and presenting to something that can be really inspirational, really moving. And it's a great way to be able to connect with your audience. And we're not born as great speakers. We need to practice, we need to work at it, and we need to fine tune and fine hone our skills. And our guest speaker today, and our wonderful guest today, knows all about that. And she's going to be sharing some wonderful insights. So buckle up, sit down, get yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, make yourself comfortable. Or if you're on a walk, have a nice walk and listen to this podcast, because it's going to be a fantastic one, as they always are. But this one really is, I feel it's going to be a really great conversation. So I would love to introduce our guest to you. Her name is Ginine Emily Smith, and she is a globally recognized speaker, international best-selling author, award-winning songwriter, and co-host of the national TV show Rockstar Diaries, Healing Out Loud. She's also the host of the Rise and Roar with the B.A.D.A.S.S Lioness podcast, where she empowers women to rise, revive, and thrive by turning their stories into superpowers. As the founder of B.A.D.A.S.S Lioness and Hearts in Sync Productions, Janine helps women move from burnout to brilliance and from pain to purpose. Through her signature Rise and Roar framework, Reclaim, Integrate, Storytell, and Empower, she teaches women how to tell their own story, reclaim their power, and create legacy-level impact, influence, and income. Janine, welcome to the podcast. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, first of all, I love your background. I love the colors. I love the integration of the lion and the woman and the roar and all of that going on. So, I know that you're going to be speaking more about your business and your zone of genius that you bring to your clients and your communities. And of course, today we're going to speak more about storytelling, but I'd love to find out from you, first of all, Janine, what's your story? Like, why do you do what you do? Can you tell us a little bit more about you?
Oh, what a great question. And you gave such a great introduction. I really appreciate that. I do want to add to that most importantly about my story is that I did all of those things that you mentioned after the age of 50. So you're never too late. You're never too old or broken or young. It's your time. So I just wanted to mention that. Do you want me to start like my origin story? Would that be okay?
I'd love to. Yeah, we'd really, because you've got a fantastic past and you're so multifaceted. Yeah, I'd love to know more about how you came to do what you're doing now.
I appreciate that question because truly, I was not always the woman that's sitting in front of you today. My journey began as a quiet girl in the back, the one who didn't think she was pretty enough, bold enough, loud enough to take up space. And losing my father at 15 just shattered my world. It turned it upside down. And one day I was a kid, the next I wasn't. I had to be the strong one, the rescuer, the responsible one, the girl who helped my mom. She had 6 kids, now a single mother. I was the oldest daughter, help her keep it all together. Grief didn't just knock on the door, it kicked it down, I tell you what. And I drifted into a world eventually, a couple years later, into dangerous places, dangerous people, dangerous choices, drugs, all disguised as survival. I went numb. And I have to share with you the night where everything, or the day that everything changed, that turned my life around the right way. I worked at a bank, and the police came and asked for me by name. It's Miss Mazursky here, Miss Ginine Mazursky. And I thought, oh gosh, what did I do wrong? Because like I said, I was immersed in a not so healthy lifestyle. And they told me that a friend that I had befriended at my other job at the Black Angus, a man who listened to me when I felt invisible, a man who truly did seem gentle and harmless, he was a serial killer. Not a criminal, not a bad guy, a serial killer. And they thought that I was next on his list. I remember thinking I could have died. I was with him a couple nights prior to that, alone in a car with him, looking for another missing friend. So that moment shocked me, became the catalyst for my awakening, because I looked at my life and I thought, this is not how I want my story to end. So that's where the word rise came from, which is one of my frameworks, rise. And we can talk about that in a minute. But I decided to not rise someday, but rise today, because I truly wanted to live. And in that moment, the quiet warrior inside of me opened her eyes. And that truly was the beginning of my rebuilding, when my voice started to return as the true Janine, the one prior to my father being killed.
Wow, Janine, I've heard your story before because we connected when, so everyone, this is Janine, not only everything that she said that she is, and a wonderful singer and author and speaker, but she's also going to be speaking on the Women Thrive podcast, Women Thrive Summit next year, the 2026 Women Thrive Summit. So we connected already to discuss the possibility of you coming on. And your story just blew me away. I mean, I went into my partner and I was like, "Oh my God, I've just met this amazing woman, and you'll never believe her story." I mean, it's just incredible. There's definitely a Netflix film in there, right? Have you ever considered that?
Oh my goodness, I love that. Let's go for the top. Let's
I
go
was
for
like, seriously, I'm not joking. I'm like, serious. That is just, I mean, I can just see the scene now. I just want to really commend you and honor you for everything that you've been through. And we all have a choice in life, don't we?
Mhm.
Especially if we have really gone through some shocks and trauma, as you have at a very young age. We can decide whether we're going to stay there in victim mode and stay stuck and blame everyone for our lives, or we're going to, like you say, rise
Yeah.
up from the ashes and create something really significant in our lives. So I'm so glad that you made that decision to do that, because that means that we get to speak on our podcast today.
Yes. Yay. And I love you guys. I love you. You're beautiful inside and out.
And I wanted to ask as well, I know that we're going off topic a little bit, but it really fascinates me because I know that you're a singer and a songwriter as well. What kind of music do you play?
Well, right now, my husband and I have a band called Heart Soul Revival, and we're in the Americana rock, bluesy type of music. We write everything, though. We're songwriters. I've been a songwriter for many, many years. I actually started singing in choirs, and I trained with the famous Eve Robinson, who sang at opera at the Carnegie Hall. So I trained in the opera. So I love all styles, but I think my heart tends to lean towards rock and blues to be honest. Even if it's worship music, I just love really upbeat, happy, joyful rock. But we write everything. I tell you what, songwriters, that's where we just get our powers through just writing a story. And you have 2.5 to 3.5 minutes to do it. And we also write for TV and film. So it's really fun just to have a voice in that type of capacity. I know that was way more than you asked for, but there's just no one simple answer to, that.
Of course, and you're so passionate about it, and I can tell. And it's such a creative process to be able to do that. And you mentioned there, obviously, we're speaking about storytelling, and every song is a story. I mean, I just find it a fascinating process. And like you said, yeah, you've got to get your message across really, really quickly, right? In a song, you've got 3.5 minutes for a song. So what is it that you really stand for when it comes to speaking and storytelling? Can you tell us a little bit more about how you actually work with your clients now in terms of that?
Wow, that's a good question. It depends on where they are in life, of course. I know a lot of women that I've met in their next and best chapters, what I call it. Maybe it's after a divorce, they're widowed, they're trying to get out of the corporate world, they're going for the life that they know that they deserve. Sometimes it takes them a minute to even reclaim their true identity, to rise up and to know that their story does not disqualify them from an abundant future, but it qualifies them. Their scars become their story. So we help them first reclaim their truth, their identity, their voice. And then the next thing we do is we integrate we wear a lot of different hats. I wore a lot of different masks. I compartmentalized my life, right? So my corporate life was one, my singing and stage production, my wife role was different, caretaker, that type of thing. I compartmentalized it. And we can integrate. We don't have to hide our past. We don't have to hide any part of us. It becomes the fuel of who we are, and we can bring it all to the stage or all to the forefront. And then we teach them how to storytell, and there is a strategy to do it in a way that resonates. And I want to mention that for a minute. I feel tongue-tied today. I
We
was
were talking about that.
Before I got on, I was doing exercises because that's one thing that we teach people so you don't get tongue-tied. And even today, I still don't expect perfection, expect progress.
Mhm.
Wherever you are in your journey, you do not need to be perfect. You bring your authentic you, okay? Your story is your power. When you own your story, you own your power. And I just want to use this as an example. Let's say you survived cancer and you get up on the stage and you start saying, wow, I had an experience with cancer. And then you go into a long story about your time in the hospital, all about the cancer. Well, what if there's a lot of audience members that have no idea what that means? Maybe they've never had any sort of illness, nobody in their family has, and they're sitting there, they're getting a lot from your story, but they're thinking, yeah, I'm really not resonating with this. How about you come up and you say, okay, my story is one where I survived cancer. You may have a story where you just never thought you would get out of it, that you'd never survive what was happening to you. Then you've got the whole room because we all have been, well, maybe some of us have had absolutely perfect lives and never fallen on their face or come up against adversity. I find it I don't have anybody in my life like that. Do you, Abigail?
No, I don't. No, 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 no.
So that's just one example. It's you tell your story and then you say, you may have an example in your life and you invite them in to your world. You help them feel your story because they also have a story and they're resonating with you. So you're inviting them in and they're happy to come into your house, open up the door and come in because as long as you're talking to that one person, and it's one person at a time, don't ever, this is one thing that I learned within the last just few years. A lot of people get up and they say, hey, you guys, oh, all you women out there. No, you're talking to that one person out there in the audience. And sometimes it's that one person, their entire life is changed because of your story. And then the last is we empower them. We help them rise into the confidence and rise into their purpose unapologetically. And that is the internal transformation that starts. And then we take them to the external transformation, which is being on the big stages, having a podcast, writing a book, having a TV show. Did you ever think that I, for one moment, thought that I'd have a TV show? No. I was the type of person, well, I'm not ready. I need to be perfect. I need to have everything in alignment. I have to have the perfect speaking voice. I need to get rid of the ums and the ands and the you knows. Well, it takes practice. It's like you wash, rinse, repeat. It's no difference with speaking. It takes practice. So those are some of the things.
I love what you're talking about and the process that you take these people through. Is it women that you work with, or is it like, who are your clients that you work
My
with?
clients with B.A.D.A.S.S Lioness is women.
Mm.
However, my husband and I have Hearts in Sync Productions. We are both global speakers. We do keynote concerts. We have a TV show called Rockstar Diaries Healing Out Loud. And that is for everybody. Everybody that has a story where they've gone from pain to purpose, trauma to triumph, where they are out in the world making a rock star ripple effect. They're sharing their knowledge because they love, they care, and they want to help somebody.
Bringing the rock star to the storytelling.
Oh, rock stars aren't necessarily the people on the stage that are wailing on the guitar or singing their heart out. Rock star, my mom's a rock star. She raised 6 kids by herself from the ages of 2 to 17. I was 16. That's, in my opinion, a rock star. And I also wanted to mention why it's called badass, because when I was growing up, I looked up to women that were powerful and bold, yet kind and empathic leaders. They cared about others and they didn't push their way to the front. That, to me, I would say that's a badass.
Mm.
Truly, I would say that's a badass. And when I brought that to my team and I said, I want to call this Badass Lioness, and then our website is B.A.D.A.S.S, we put an acronym, or I don't know if you call it an acronym or agnostic, but it's badass. It's bold to begin, audacious to dream, determined to rise, divine by spirit, aligned in grace and purpose, strong in mind, body, and heart, so that we can shine our light. That's badass.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. And that, for me, you've described just the most amazing speaker, a leader, because that is leadership, it's leading with grace. So I can understand why you decided to call it that name. We were speaking before we started recording, actually, and you were saying that you're not born to be a perfect speaker. It really takes time. You were just talking about practice and confidence. And where would you start if someone was watching this and has been really inspired by your story and want to be able to tell their story and maybe speak on stages? I mean, where on earth do you begin to become this badass speaker?
You start writing it all down. If you haven't already, get a notebook, get a journal, and write. Just brain dump. Just write everything down. Some will call it inventory, some will call it journaling, writing. You just want to take that quantum leap into taking everything that's inside and putting it on paper. That's what I do with songs. That's what I do before I write a book. That's what I do with my talks. I just brain dump. And then you look through that and you take the best of the best, you kind of refine it, and you see what you want to basically it's the craft of transforming your truth into a tool that moves people. So everything that I do, I say, how will this affect the audience? What message am I trying to give to them? And also, I just want to say, when it stops being about you and it's about your audience that you're trying to reach, you gain courage. I did that when I was a singer. I'd think before I'd get on stage, I'd be so nervous and I'd be thinking, am I wearing the right thing? Is my makeup smeared? Do I need more lipstick? How are they going to take it if I fall on stage? Like I would get so caught up in my own head. I call them bullies in your head, bullies in my head. But as soon as you stop thinking about yourself and you think about, oh, what person can I talk to out in the audience that will make their day, where they walk away and their day is better? As soon as you do that, the fear just seems to melt away and you become more courageous, more powerful. And so then you start by writing it down. You craft it in a way, again, where you're thinking about the audience. I am a full believer in practice, 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 but the practice starts with your content. And so what I do is I write out all my content and I'll speak it in front of a mirror, in front of my husband, in front of my cat, my dog, and I'll send it even to a friend and do it on a Zoom or in person with a friend. You bounce it off of people. I heard a story recently about Jerry Seinfeld. Everybody probably already knows this story, but I just recently heard Jerry Seinfeld. He's one of the top comedians out there. And when he started, he would sit at the table for hours and just write out as many jokes as he could. And then he'd look at all of them and try to pick his favorite 10. He'd go to like an open mic, just way out where there may be a few people there, right? And he would tell those jokes. He would wait and see which one landed the best or landed at all. He would take that one and then go and do the next round and then take the best one from that one. And then he'd get 10 best ones off of 10 open mics.
Mm.
You can do that with your storytelling. You can tell it over and over again. I tell you what, my story has evolved and changed so much over the years. And you just practice, 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 and know that your story, right? Your story can affect that one person out there where it transforms them. I just went off on a tangent and I hope I answered your question. There's so much to it though. You learn it, you practice, you build it. You don't become a powerful speaker because somebody hands you a microphone. And I think in my experience that a lot of people just, oh, I can talk my way through anything. And maybe they are a good talker, but are they a good speaker?
There's such a big difference, isn't there? I really love to hear, I love what you shared, by the way, because I really love to hear about your creative process. It's fascinating. You were talking there about songwriting, and it's the same for speaking. So it
Yes.
feels to me like this real like creative process where you're writing things down, but it's almost like it's channeling, like you're channeling
Mhm.
and writing it down. And then this shift to what's in it for my audience? Because the audience are always thinking, aren't they? What's in it for me? So what? So what?
Right.
And I'm sure you've experienced this. I've gone to a lot of conferences. I speak on stages myself, and I've witnessed a lot of speaking, and I've witnessed amazing speakers and not so amazing speakers and everything in between. But I've witnessed so many talks where it's so ego driven
Mhm.
and it's a performance and it's all about the person that's speaking. But actually, what you're saying is that when you can flip that around and stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about your audience, not only does it give you more confidence because you're not thinking about yourself anymore. It's like, what can you deliver? But also, it's very intentional when you're writing your story and you're writing your talk because it's audience centric. And they're going to feel that, aren't they, energetically when you're speaking?
Correct. And you want to make sure that your message is clear, that it's structured, and that it's authentic. Those are the three main things. And that was the mistake that I made, even in my songwriting. There was way too much that I wanted to get out. I was like purging all of this information, and it was too much. So your message needs to be clear. If you have about 5 different things that you want to get across, try shaving that off, because it's hard to talk about 5 different major topics or times of your life. And that was the mistake that I made. I started winning awards. I became an international best-selling author, became an award-winning songwriter only after I made those changes. And I made it very, very clear in the song. It was very simple, simple to where people listen to it. They could resonate with it. They're not trying to get in your head and say, oh, I have no idea what this person is talking about, right? And so it's true for just about anything, for book writing, for speaking, for songwriting.
And that's what I loved about the story actually that you shared, because I'm sure you could have gone into so much detail around your childhood and when your father died and the responsibilities that you had as the oldest child in that whole scenario. And then, your life and the habits that you fell into, and then obviously the serial killer story, just a horrendous thing to happen to you, but very fascinating as a consumer listening to that story. But you didn't go into all the details, you just gave me the highlights. So then I'm like, I want to know more, I want to know more. So it's like you're drawing your audience in, you're not giving them every single detail. It's like highlights, and then it's like, now I want to binge watch the whole series. Where's the series?
I love that. That is a pure visual in my head. It's true, though. It's true. They say marketing, right? You want to allure people in by giving them little sips. So they want the whole gallon of milk, right? It's what you said is so on spot. So on spot.
What's the vision for you, Janine, for you, your business, your clients? Like, where is this going? Because I feel like there's so much more. You said that it was past 50 when you started to do this. So you're just at the beginning of this, right? Where is it going?
I have decided I want to help 100 women. You could say 1,000, 10,000. No, I want to help 100 women reclaim their identity, be the happiest they've ever been. I want them to be able to walk in a room with all eyes on them. You have their attention. They are on the edge of their seats, wanting to hear your story. That's what I want to do. I want to help those 100 women, however it takes to get there. I want to have retreats, because in person, it's great to do these Zoom things. I mean, it opened up in COVID, right? It became a regular thing, but there's nothing like in person deep diving. You got to do a deep dive instead of just surface level things. You get all of that through group mentoring, group coaching, retreats. So our team is thinking very big. We're going to start with a master class in January. We'll be offering up courses, Facebook groups, all kinds of things. I don't like calling it networking. It's connecting with other women that are like-minded, you're in a safe place where you could be your authentic self and nobody is telling you, no, you can't do that. Oh, can I share a quick story?
Of course you may.
This was over the holidays, and I'm not going to name names, but it broke my heart. It was somebody very close to me, and she's in a spot now where there's a high-level leader position opening up at her hospital that she works at. And because her boss is leaving, and her boss, she loves her boss. Her boss is what we talked about earlier, a badass.
Mm.
Very bold, very just dynamic, amazing, but also caring. And she started talking to me about wanting to possibly go for that position. And her husband said, "Oh, you wouldn't be able to do that. You don't have the type of personality. Can't do that. Just give that up right now." And how many of us have had that person in our lives? I did when I was growing up. I had, well, even recently in the last 20 years, I've had those people. You get rejected no matter where you go. Rejection is a part of life. But that person that's close to you saying, "No, you're not ready. You cannot do that. Don't even think about it." Don't listen to those people. If you feel it in your heart and in your soul that you were born to do this, you will get there. It just takes getting up off your butt and putting in the work. Not just thinking about it, not just talking about it. You have to put in the work.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
thanks for letting me share that, because it did break my heart, but
I
that's why
know.
we have each other.
Exactly. And that's why we need supportive communities, not to be around people that are naysayers and that don't believe in us.
Mhm.
We need to believe in ourselves first and foremost, and then have the boundaries and the self-value to surround ourselves with people that
Yes.
really have our backs. So I just wishing her all the best. And
Yes.
Janine, it's been so wonderful to connect with you. I've got so many questions for you, but we're out of time.
Yes, we are.
But we get to experience you on the Women Thrive Summit. What are you most looking forward to about that, Janine?
Well, all of the women in this on this team and in your organization are so phenomenal in every way, on different, I almost said on different planets, in different countries all over the world. I'm looking forward to hearing their message. And I'm so looking forward to those who join and register and come, because you are going to change. You're going to be transformed, whether it's my talk, whether it's somebody else's. I have a lot of friends in this group. Now I do, including you. We
Yeah.
have Abby, Abigail. Do you like Abby or Abigail better?
I like Abby. I mean, I call myself Abigail Rebecca because that's my business name and it helps with Google. And so if I always present myself as Abigail Rebecca, but Abby.
Yeah,
Always
Abby.
Abby.
Yes. I just am so excited for transformation of some kind in anybody that attends or speaks at this event.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're so excited to have you and thank you for saying yes and coming into, you're right, it is a beautiful community, women all around the world. Some, to be fair, are on different planets. And we love that. How do people find you? So we've got lots of listeners and viewers for this episode. Where do we find you, Janine?
I just updated my website and it has every way that you could get a hold of me. So it's badasslioness.com, and that's B.A.D.D.A.S.S lioness.com. And you can either pre-register for our masterclass that's in January. You could send me a private message. All of that is on the homepage. I tried to make it as simple as I could for people to get a hold of us. You can join our Facebook group on that page. So that is probably the easiest, or you could email me at info@theheartlistens.com.
Wonderful. We're going to put all those details down below. So you can go and click on there. So we'll share all the URLs. So it's really easy for people to come and find you. Janine, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to your story and your creative process and some really incredible insights there around storytelling. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. It was an honor to be here.
And thank you everyone for watching, for listening. As always, we appreciate you so much for your support and for you to really give your time to come and listen to the stories of these amazing women. I hope that you can join us on the 2026 Women Thrive Summit. And we are very, very much looking forward to that. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Women Thrive Podcast. I'm so thankful for you as a listener for spending time with us, myself and my co-host Abigail, to hear our conversations with our guests. If you have had the opportunity to hear our podcast, do make sure you leave a review and share this episode with your audience as well. This has helped us reach the 5 top % globally ranked podcast, as well as reach more than 30,000 downloads to date. Your support means so much to us, and this is how we get to reach more people around the world. At Women Thrive Media, we're here to amplify voices of women and empower women to take the center stage and shine a spotlight on their messages.